And here we go with episode 9 of 100 Things WV. Today we are chatting Huntington, 5 things to do in Hinton, and Pipestem State Park. So grab a drink, grab some snacks, and sit back and listen, and let's uncover West Virginia. Hi y'all, I'm Melody, an East Bank High School graduate, class of 87, and proud to call West Virginia my almost heaven. I now live in Nevada, but you'll find me several times a year driving through the Mountain State to get content for my blog, Wherever I May Roam, blog.com, and for my West Virginia social channels. I've traveled my whole life, starting right out of high school when I made New York City my stomping grounds. Even getting married and having children didn't stop me. My family had a suitcase packed and ready to go all year long. My kids say they literally grew up out of one. With 49 countries and 49 states under my belt, I've seen the world. Still, there's something magical about my home state of West Virginia, and I'm thrilled for the opportunity to share some of it with you. Whether you're new to West Virginia, visiting the newest national park, planning a statewide road trip, or have lived there all your life, I'm betting you'll learn something from this podcast or its social channels, 100 Things West Virginia on Facebook and Instagram. So I have a couple blog posts about Huntington, and I've written a lot about it in the past. One of my latest things was I nominated the Rose Garden at Ritter Park as one of the USA Today 10 Best Gardens. So if you voted for that, I helped get them nominated, and it was very well deserved. It's a beautiful garden. It's beautifully maintained. It's free, and I think that a lot more people should know about that garden. Going back to the beginning, nestled in the southern tip of West Virginia lies the bustling city of Huntington, a haven where 3 states merge. It's renowned for hosting the spirited Marshall University, and it captivates visitors with its delightful mix of food, culture, and artistry. I think there were 8 things in Huntington that made our 100 Things to Do in West Virginia book. If you haven't been to Huntington or you haven't given it a fair shake as to what it means to visitors, tourists, and things, I'm telling you, there's a lot of treasures in Huntington. Huntington is growing a lot, and I think their food scene is probably one of the best in the state. I think their food scene is way better than Charleston's, and that's saying a lot when you're competing, against the capital city. I've been going to Huntington for a gazillion years. Yeah, back in the day, going to Huntington was so much fun. Going to Gumby's, the bar downtown, that John Steele owned, and John Steele and John Kirby, if anybody remembers those Huntington days. Going to Ward's Donuts and going to all the shows at the Coliseum. I remember seeing Bon Jovi there and Night Ranger, lots of those 80s bands. My friends and family, we used to drive down to go to Chili Willie's on a regular basis. Oh my God, it was so good. Does everybody miss Chili Willie's? I love when I go to Huntington, they sell the little stickers at different places, and there's always something about Chili Willie's. So gone but not forgotten. So Huntington has a lot of great murals. Look for those. The most thriving area in Huntington, in my opinion, is that it's the Central City District that has antique shops, art galleries, farmers market, coffee shop, bookstore. It's the 14th Street West area. It used to just be kind of like the Antiques District, and now it is revitalized and just, again, growing by leaps and bounds. So that's where Cicada Books is. You can go for book signings. I did 100 Things to Do in West Virginia Before You Die book signing there early on when our book was released. They have great coffee drinks as well. And then there's many antique stores, including Mark's, AAA Antiques, Pam's Marketplace, and the Peddler's Mall. Then there's the Wild Ramp, arguably the best gourmet market in all of West Virginia. This place is a treasure trove. Oh my gosh, I really don't ever need to buy gourmet food products when I'm in West Virginia because I'm traveling and I'm living out of a suitcase and eating 3 meals a day on the road. But this is where I would shop if I lived in West Virginia. Just amazing food products. They also have heat and eat meals. They do mead tastings. They have live music. Lots of fun things going on there. So stepping outside of Central City, we're going to go over to Heritage Farm Museum and Village, another offering in our 100 Things to Do in West Virginia book. So you can immerse yourself in Appalachia's past at the Heritage Farm Museum and Village. It's a captivating site that bridges generational gaps with its immersive portrayal of historic Appalachian life. So there are 15 log structures, and then there are interactive museum exhibits that educate and delight children and families. There's an outdoor playground area, wagon rides, a train, a petting zoo. Oh my God, I had so much fun in the petting zoo. They had they had possums and pigs and goats and turtles and llamas and chickens and you name it. It was just so much fun. And then there are artisans around the property, living history interpreters, if you may, that are showing off their trades and giving you the opportunity to learn new things about the industry and families back in the pioneer days. So I remember when my kids were in school, they were at Charleston Catholic, they did a field trip to Heritage Farm. That was the first time I heard about it. One kid's 28, one's 31, well over 20 years ago probably. They did this field trip. And I did not go until 3 or 4 years ago. And I was absolutely just blown away that this great of a living history museum is in West Virginia. I've been to some of the best probably in the world, and a few like Conner Prairie up in Indiana. I mean, that one is just off the hook fantastic. There's a few that are just, top of the line. And Heritage Farm is definitely one of the top contenders. It's really amazing. So do yourself a favor if you haven't been there. You don't have to take kids with you. Kids will love it, but you don't have to take kids. They also have special events that are family fun nights. They do cast iron cookouts. They have a Christmas village, and there's just lots of events. So check the website, see what appeals to you. They also have a little on-site restaurant, a gift shop. There's picnic tables, so you could bring your picnic lunch to enjoy. But anyway, it's a really great place to check out, Heritage Farm and Museum. And while we're talking about museums, let's go to the other best, which is the Art Museum. I'm from Charleston. I love Clay Center and I love their art gallery, but let's be real. I don't think there's an art gallery in West Virginia that can compete with the Huntington Museum of Art. I think that's probably the highest caliber art gallery in West Virginia. If it's not, then I haven't seen it. I'm incredibly impressed with the Huntington Museum of Art. When you pull up outside and you see this very impressive Dale Chihuly glass installation, 352 hand-blown pieces in blues and yellows. When you see that from the parking lot, you know you are somewhere special. If you are not a fan of Dale Chihuly, then I'm sorry, because Dale Chihuly is the best glass artist, and I travel all over the country to see his stuff. He is just absolutely the best. And the Huntington Museum of Art, whatever it is they did to get that piece, congratulations. But the marvels don't stop there. They also have what's called the C. Fred Edwards Conservatory that has all this tropical foliage. They have subtropical palms and plants, and they have blooms that will make your jaw drop. I've seen sugarcane, banana trees, cacao plants, coffee plants. There's things from all around the world in there. And it smells so good whenever the orchids are blooming, and they have frangipanis and all this sort of thing. I mean, it is just spectacular. So I love to go to a nice garden. I mean, this could be, part of a botanical garden or something like that, but they only consider themselves a museum of art. But I think that while the art is impressive, they have some beautiful galleries, and they have, of course, temporary and permanent exhibits. I've seen Pablo Picasso there, Roy Lichtenstein. There's the Wilbur Myers glass collection that's really beautifully displayed. That garden is just spectacular. And I think the last time I was there a year ago or so, I met a guy who had recently been hired. He was a graduate of Marshall University, and he was trying a lot of things, bringing in some new plants and learning some new things. So I can't even imagine how much even greater it is now. Something very small but noteworthy is that they have a fish aquarium. It's a rectangular fish aquarium. It's pretty big, and they have a lot of different fish sea life in there. And they have just a little piece of paper printed on the side that tells you what each one is, like a pictorial guide. So I really love that, and it's great for children to be able to, or me at 55, be able to, know what I'm looking at. So I really appreciated that little extra effort. So moving on to downtown Huntington, Pullman Square, that's kind of the heart of downtown Huntington. They have entertainment, shopping, fine dining. It's a great social scene place. So there's the Geek Bookstore, and then there's the Pottery Place. There's just a lot of cool things going on there. And if you like Black Sheep Burrito and Brews, which made our book, I have not eaten at the one in Huntington. I go to the one in Charleston, but it made our book simply for the chicken and waffles. If you have not had the chicken and waffles at Black Sheep Burrito and you like chicken and waffles, you're going to have the best of your whole life there. And I'm basing this on somebody who's tried chicken and waffles in probably 100 different places around the country. Nobody does it as well as Black Sheep Burrito. Let me tell you why. Everything on the plate has thought and talent put into it. The syrup is infused. The jalapenos are pickled or whatever it is they are. The batter is made with something special. Just every little thing has had hands on it and attention to it. And it's wonderful. They have lots of other things besides chicken and waffles, but just telling you what really speaks to me from there. And then also at Pullman Square and all around Huntington are the tugboats. These are like an art installment. They are transformed into moving canvases by talented local artists. They're all like individually decorated and everything. There's, I don't know how many there are in town. I've probably seen 7 or 8 of them, and they're just super cute. So look for those little tugboats. Talking about other places to eat in Huntington, the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Fat Patties. I mean, those are kind of like staples around town. And then you got Jim's Steak and Spaghetti House, a beloved establishment that's carved its own niche in town, and it was West Virginia's first James Beard Foundation Award winner. That's pretty cool. And yes, their spaghetti is mentioned in 100 Things to Do in West Virginia Before You Die. Something they're also famous for is their fried haddock fish and their homemade tartar sauce. I'm telling you, it's off the hook delicious. And you can buy I think you can buy their spaghetti sauce and bring it home with you, and you can buy their tartar sauce. Both delicious. When Angie and I were writing the book, I went to 20 Italian restaurants around West Virginia because there are so many Italian restaurants in West Virginia. I think that a lot of people don't know the Italian heritage. So I wanted to focus on one meal. Like you can have great Italian food for a very decent price around West Virginia. So I'm going to eat the same meal, spaghetti and meatballs, at 20 different places. And then I'm going to put a handful of those in our book. And the number one winning spaghetti and meatballs was Jim's Steak and Spaghetti House. I would never have guessed that it was going to be number one. It's an older restaurant. Yes, it has great history. Yes, it has great everything. But I did not know that Jim's had such great spaghetti and meatballs until I sampled it against 19 other plates. It also comes in many different sizes. So if you're there at lunch and you want a $5 meal, you get this little dish of spaghetti, which also comes with, I think, a side salad and bread. And then you can get a $6 plate or a $7 plate or an $8 plate. There's just a wide variety, and I like that they appeal to many different budgets and appetites. One more thing about Jim's is that dignitaries and icons such as Muhammad Ali and John F. Kennedy have graced Jim's tables. So that's really cool. And then there's 2 other iconic restaurants I want to mention. Stewart's Original Hot Dogs. I mean, who doesn't love a classic West Virginia hot dog? And Stewart's has been in business since 1932. So they have that great chili sauce, and they use hometown Heiner's buns. You can even ship them anywhere in the country. I know my friend Hope, she lives in South Charleston, and her dad lived in Georgia, and she used to send him a case of Stewart's Original Hot Dogs. I thought that was just so cool. And then there's the iconic Frost Top Drive-In. You're being greeted by the sight of the colossal root beer mug twirling from the rooftop. The car hop delivers the food to your window. It's classic Americana at its finest. It's also mentioned in 100 Things to Do in West Virginia with, I think, the best picture in the whole book. I've been going to Frost Top for probably 45 years or more, and it had been a minute since I'd been there. And so when I'm working on getting my content for writing this book, I pull up, and I wasn't sure of the protocol. What is the protocol now for going to a car hop? Well, you actually blow the horn. And, I'm old school. You don't blow the horn. That's rude. And you're showing aggression and all this sort of thing. But that's just how it is there. You blow the horn or flick your lights or something, and they come out and take your order. And they bring a cute little tray and clamp it on your window and bring your, I had a root beer float, of course. They have great food, too. It's just a darling car hop. Anybody in the family would love it. So Huntington is right on the banks of the Ohio River, and you have the Harris Riverfront Park, which is a serene green space, great for leisurely strolls, family picnics. It's rich with wildlife education, and it has an active skate park, an amphitheater, and it's just a really beautiful property. You might get lucky, and while you're down there, see a coal barge coming through. That's something a lot of people have never experienced or seen. There's also exercise equipment down there that's anybody can use for free. And no visit is complete without experiencing the spirit of Marshall University. I went to Marshall University. My husband went to Marshall University. But one of the things that is most famous about Marshall is the plane crash. And I think that a lot of people in the country don't know what Marshall is, but they know the We Are Marshall movie that Warner Brothers released in 2006, starring Matthew McConaughey, that told the story of the tragedy of the plane crash and the aftermath. And just an FYI, Marshall was founded in 1837. It has around 12,000 full-time students across 100 acres. The Joan C. Edwards is the only football stadium in the nation named after a woman. There's a good fun fact for you. So you can stop in the Huntington Area Convention and Visitors Bureau at Heritage Station to get maps, brochures, and recommendations. And they have a cool gift shop with, again, like the best stickers around. Oh, I forgot something. We have to say one more thing about a restaurant, and that is Bahnhof, the German restaurant in Huntington with a beer garden. Oh, it's so good there. I went to dinner with some girlfriends, and we shared that barley malt pretzel, which is as big as your head. It comes with raspberry wildflower honey butter, mountain mustard, and then you can add Bad Shepherd beer cheese on the side. We had bacon deviled eggs. Not really German, but how can you pass up bacon deviled eggs, right? For the main course, I had a sausage platter, and you can choose the ones that you want, and then you choose your side dishes. So they also have like pork schnitzel, Wiener schnitzel, Jaeger schnitzel, Spätzle, sauerkraut, the whole works. But some of their sausages are really unique, and they were very good. And you also want to save room for the cream puffs. These cream puffs are enormous. They're the prettiest ones I've ever seen, and they have a variety of flavors. They're not super sweet. They're great for sharing, so just order one for the table and have a good bite. So I think we've finished Huntington with the exception of these couple little highlights I'm going to mention to you. Just minutes from downtown Huntington is Camden Park, the amusement park that's been spreading joy for over a century. I remember going there as a kid and playing skee ball and riding the spider and the wooden coaster and the haunted house. And, it's all these treats under the sign of the Happy Clown. 2 more Huntington jewels are Waves of Fun, which is 23 miles away, and Beach Fork State Park, which is 8 miles away. They have a wave pool, hiking trails, pedal along bike paths, just all kinds of great outdoor fun in those 2 gyms. Now, for the middle part of this podcast, we're going to talk about 5 things to do in Hinton. When's the last time you heard Hinton mentioned? Well, Hinton, my friend, is growing, and Hinton is making a name for itself, and I've seen it a couple different times last year, and I'm very impressed. So I'm going to give you 5 things to do in Hinton. One thing is you have to eat at the Lucky Rivers Cafe. This little place is so darling. It's real artsy-fartsy. They have great food, lots of vegan items. Watch for the Honeybird cake. It's fantastic. Number 2, the Hinton Railroad Museum. It's free, and who doesn't love a good museum? You need something to do on a rainy day? You go learn about the railroad. But just go. Number 3, the Hinton Veterans Museum. Again, another great museum. They should do a museum crawl around that part of West Virginia. There's quite a few good museums up there. Those are both treasures. They won't take you very long to go through, maybe an hour at best for both of them. You can also do fishing. Number 4, fishing at Bluestone Lake. You can go kayaking or fishing. There's one of those almost heaven swings there to get your photo ops. There are rentals. So if you need to rent a kayak or rent a boat, you can do that. Number 5, Oak and Otter. Sorry, got that backwards. Otter and Oak, which is a specialty store. They have great clothing, shoes, accessories. Then they also have the adorable Otter Cafe, which is another great coffee shop. They have frappes, coffee cakes, lattes, smoothies, and so forth. I have not had a coffee from there, but I've heard excellent things about it. So it's on my list for my next visit to West Virginia. And 10 minutes away is Walcott. You can learn about West Virginia folk legend John Henry at the John Henry Historical Park. If you don't know, John Henry was again, folk legend, a steel driver for the railroad. He was the strongest, most powerful man working on the railroad. He went up against the steam drill to prove he was faster. And this property is managed by the National Park Service. It's also part of the New River Gorge National Park. And a couple fun facts about Hinton is that it's famous for its coal mining history and world-class fishing. I remember in the 70s, my grandfather used to go up to Hinton to fish. And nothing has changed. It's still very popular fishing. And the Amtrak runs right through the town. There's a depot there, and the downtown district is certainly creating a buzz. And rumor has it that the Dairy Queen in Hinton is the best in the state. So you tell me, is that the best Dairy Queen, or is it not? Let's take a break to hear from our tasty sponsor, Tudor's Biscuit World. Y'all, these are life-changing biscuits, and it's the #1 entry in our book.
Oh, good gravy. The kind made from real premium sausage. The kind that's smothered over deliciousness. The kind you can only get at Tudor's Biscuit World. That's the gravy that's oh so good. It's the perfect topping to your biscuits or your taters, and even makes a delicious side. It's oh so good gravy. Tudor's Biscuit World. We're dripping with oh good gravy.
Pipestem is about an hour 45 minutes southeast of Charleston. This resort state park is West Virginia's premier state park, and it's nestled in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. It's a paradise for outdoor lovers of all ages and has a million different things to do. The amenities list is off the charts. Pipestem Resort State Park has a variety of lodging options, from cozy cabins to lodge rooms with stunning views. There's something for every budget and every preference. I stayed in a king suite at McKeever Lodge, which had a small balcony overlooking the gorge, and you'll want this room. First of all, it's been updated, renovated with the remodel, and second of all, the view gave me the most beautiful sunset photos, and every morning when the sun comes up, there's this breathtaking fog that just rolls through the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. You have to experience it. So many of the rooms at Pipestem have had significant upgrades. Request one of those if you want a new, more modern room. Adventure awaits at every turn at Pipestem Resort State Park, thanks to Pipestem Adventures. Picture this: rafting trips, zip lining. They have an all-day pass that includes things like remote-control cars, laser tag, mini golf. There's skeet shooting. And we're not even to the best part yet. They take care of maintaining the inflatables and that beach area. So if you've seen any picture of Pipestem in the last couple of years, you will see that Pipestem Adventures has really put this lodge on the map as far as like a premier destination goes. Those inflatables are absolutely beautiful. They look so much fun. I went down to the beach, but it was cold out and it really wasn't season, so I did not do the inflatables, but I can't imagine anybody that would not love doing that. You can embrace your inner thrill seeker by ziplining over the scenic Bluestone Gorge on the adventure course, and then you can do the zipline tour that takes you soaring through the air across the Bluestone River. It provides an unparalleled view of the West Virginia wilderness, and there's also award-winning golf courses at Pipestem. Besides all those amenities I've already mentioned, there's also a game room at McKeever's Lodge, there's disc golf, there's a heated indoor pool, and paddle boats. So that will keep you and your family entertained for hours. There's also horseback riding and lots of trails if that's something of interest to you. I went skeet shooting for the first time at Pipestem Resort State Park, and while it requires a keen eye and quick reflexes and accuracy, I had a blast, and the instructor was so great and so patient with me and everything. I wasn't half bad, and I had never tried it before. It does have a bit of a kick, so I did have like some bruising on my shoulder because I'd never done it, but it was super fun. There were a lot of people doing it as well, so that's telling me they're doing a very good job with their programming. A highlight of Pipestem State Park is the aerial tram ride, which is a 3,000-foot-long ride down the mountain. It provides bird's eye view of the lush forests and rolling hills, and it's a great way to immerse yourself in the natural beauty of this area. If you're looking for a way to splurge and indulge yourself in something very special, then you have to treat yourself to the spa at Pipestem. It's really beautiful spa. I had a facial there. They also do massage, manicures, pedicures. It's just a really beautiful area. The ladies were so nice, and they sell really nice products. I do remember Farmhouse Fresh was one of the products they sell. But anyway, just a really nice spa property. And you got to try the delicious restaurants that are on site. There's the Bluestone Dining Room and the Black Bear Grill. I went to the Bluestone Dining Room, I think for every meal on my trip, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because I was there on the days that Black Bear Grill was not open. It was not seasoned yet, so it wasn't open. But I have had lots of friends who have eaten at Black Bear, and they absolutely love it. I had a pulled pork sandwich for lunch, and for dinner I had the sun-dried tomato chicken pasta, which was really, really good. The prices are pretty affordable. Again, if you listened to my podcast before, I talk about the West Virginia state parks have custom-made china that has the name of the state park stamped on the dishes, and it's just really beautiful. I like eating at these restaurants, and they have the floor-to-ceiling windows with the great views. For breakfast, I do remember I had an omelet. The omelet was huge. They're huge breakfast portions. So if you're not a big breakfast eater and you're traveling with someone, you might just want to share a meal. But they have omelets, pancakes. They even have chicken and waffles. It's just a beautiful setting. What else is there to do at Pipestem? I'd love to hear what I've missed. I had such a great time there, and you don't even have to leave this property. You can just go park your car and just enjoy all the amenities. They have e-bikes, and bicycles. And so I rented an e-bike and rode the property for a good while. There's a few places to pull over and take some pictures. There's a lot of people just out walking their dogs and things. So it's just a beautiful place to be outdoors. This podcast was designed to go with the 100 Things to Do in West Virginia Before You Die book, part of a national book series by Reedy Press, that I co-authored with one of my lifelong best friends, Angie Richards, whom I've known since 6th grade. While our book implies 100 things, it's actually 240 entries. Having been a content creator and travel professional for the last 10 years, and Angie traveling the state of West Virginia for her job, we have a good grip on what's hot and noteworthy around the majestic state. Also, West Virginia has a lot to offer, but we only had room for 100 entries since this is a book series already set in stone. If your favorite West Virginia attraction, hotel, restaurant, or outdoor space didn't make it to the list, message us on our social channels and maybe we can include it in a future book, if opportunity presents itself. And that's it for episode 9. I hope you enjoyed me clamoring on about wild, wonderful West Virginia and that you want to hit the open road and see some of these things for yourself. If you'd like to buy our book to help enrich your journey, you can find it at reedypress.com or wherever you buy your books, Amazon, Walmart, Books A Million, Target, etc. If you are a store, library service, or business that wants to sell our book, or you'd like to hire us for a speaking engagement, reach out to me at 100thingswv@gmail.com and we can arrange for signed copies. You can follow along on our social pages at 100 Things West Virginia on Facebook and Instagram. I also have a West Virginia group called West Virginia Wanderlust. West Virginia is not abbreviated in that one.